I'm Charles McGuire, and I have a video log for presentation, and this is what I'm actually doing. The question goes first. Information risk management processes can be listed and consist of 4 key steps. Considering a specific healthcare information used in real time and applying the steps can actually show us. And this is what I actually got for those steps. The first one talks about identification and qualification of inherent risk. First and foremost, the healthcare is the most important measure of one's life. However, it becomes important to identify and analyze risk management to prevent the concerns related to it. These major concerns can either be clinical processed, adequate evaluation of reports. The health organization sometimes can make simpler and efficient with the identification of the given problems. It not only determines the patient's safety, but it also consists of systematically financial themes, problem solutions with each level reimbursement system. The second key step talks about decision making regarding the most appropriate form of risk treatment for the risk identified. I actually agree to the proper definition that a risk treatment technique is the method of selecting, analyzing, and implementing techniques to modify the risk. The risk treatment technique amounts to avoiding, preventing, improving, transferring, and optimizing risk. The measures could also be selected from sets of safety measurements that are expanded within the information security management system. The use of healthcare risk unit organization process are conventionally highlighted on the vital part of the user safeguard, the assurance, and also diminishing the beneficial errors that exposes an ability of management. However, with increased cybersecurity concerns, the increasing part of healthcare technologies, the fast pace of various medical techniques, and continuously varying regulatory of industry and reimbursement, the field of giving healthcare health organization become a complex process over time. The third step talks more on application of suitable controls to achieve the objective determined earlier. Applications of suitable control in healthcare risk unit organization are conventionally emphasized on the mandatory part of the user safeguard, the assurance, and also the lessening of curative errors that expose an ability of management to obtain or get its target, and also keeps it against economic liability. In this context, with the economical and value-centered care action and the present models for risk-bearing structure, we can take an example of a wrap deposit for the content management system that needs to be adopted for the program. It kind of helps to avoid financial risk and is shift from victim to providers, which in turn covers a broader aspect of risk management, which is quoted from Wager KA, Lee FW, and Lee Glaser JP. The fourth one talks more on acceptance of any residual risk following the implementation of the controls applied. Here, I made mention of increasing the act or part of the given risk management. Health units and other health-centered options are accepting a rounded process, which is usually called the enterprise risk management, which is more like a very key function. The ERM contains conventional views of risk management consisting user safety and medical accountability, and exploring them to identify risk across the management. The other question talks more on narrating the risk management process that you would recommend. For me, I talked about 8 different risk management that I would recommend. The first one is operational related risk, and this kind of summarizes the risk a company undertakes when it attempts to operate within a given field or industry. Operational risk is a risk not inherent in financial, systematic, or market-wide risk. The second one is the financial risk. This is the risk which shows that you lose a lot of money, or when you actually lost money. The third one talks about the clinical health and user safety. In this kind of risk, this might actually harm the employee the staff, the user health. The fourth one talks about the human capital risk. This is used to manage the human capital involved in the business. The fifth one is the strategic risk process. And here, this is the risk that fails business decisions or lack thereof. So something that actually presents a lack to the company or the organization you're working for. The strategy of risk is often a major factor in determining a company's worth, particularly observable if the company experiences a sharp decline in a short period of time. The sixth one I talked about was the lawful, permissible, and regulatory risk related to the law, rules, and norms of the company. The sixth one talks about the technological risk. This kind of risk is kind of related to the technical task which the company undertakes at the moment. And the last part says the environmental friendly kind of a risk, which is kind of structural framework. This kind of risk are actually based on the environmental or the structure with which the company is laying its foundation from. And so I talked more about where I got the information from, the references, and all of that.